Well, I just filmed the first 10 minutes of this video without turning on my microphone. Go me! Let me explain what made me want to do this video. So my husband and I went to this day camp thing with some boys from our church because we were gonna become some of like their leaders. So like we went to the day camp and we met the boys. They're really fun. And we talked about a lot of stuff. So it got to a point where we were talking about Pokemon, because I'm a huge Pokemon fan. Expect more Pokemon related videos in the future. We were talking about Pokemon and it came to where I asked like, oh, do you guys like have DS games? Like, do you play on the DS? Their response was, what's that? It made me really, really sad. Cause like, okay, I grew up with like the Game Boy and the DS's, and they're like a huge part of my childhood. I still play my DS to this day, and to see that they're like dying out now, it makes me really sad. You know, they've now stopped making more DS games, of Pokemon at least, for like the 2DS and 3DS, and now they're trying to switch everything over to the Switch and to the Wii U and Xbox, PlayStation, or even just play it on your computer. No one really seems to care about the DS anymore, or the games that came on DS. And there were a lot of really fun games on like the DS and the Game Boys. I don't know, I think maybe it's the type of game, because on like the Xbox you could play a lot more shooting games, and I guess a lot of people just seem to really like that, but I honestly hate those games. So I like a lot of games that require a lot of time and work, and maybe puzzles, and then having to like really like work your way up, rather than just like, oh, I finally found a bigger gun and now I can shoot more people. I don't know. My personal preference is not those games. And I don't know, I just feel like, you know, people just, I guess, don't really appreciate them much anymore, and they're just kind of dying out, and I thought maybe I should review the games that I have and some of the games that I used to have that I don't have anymore, and just explain how I liked them, if I didn't like them, because let me tell you, some of them suck. And I don't know, just see what happens, because they're fun still, and I just thought show people that, you know, they're still fun, at least some of them. So let's get started. I hope I didn't lose any of my games from doing that. The first game that I got, I don't have with me at the moment because it's in Texas, unfortunately. But I do have a computer emulator that I can play it now on my computer, and it's called Leaf Green. Now, Leaf Green is one of the remakes of the original like red, green, blue, and yellow games. Leaf Green was a very top favorite for me because like the game was honestly pretty hard. Like to get certain Pokemon was really hard to find. To train your Pokemon, it took a lot of time to really like grind up your Pokemon to actually get to a higher level. And then a lot of the gym leaders were actually pretty tough. Some of the puzzles that you have to do in the gyms to really get to the gym leader, they were also kind of tough. It just took a lot more work, and it honestly felt really accomplishing at the end, and I really liked it, and I feel like a lot of people would still like, yeah, it's an old game, but I feel like the concept of it and the way that it was made, I think it works really well. So yeah, I think I'm gonna try rating these games. So I would give Leaf Green probably a 9 out of 10, just because some of the things are a bit outdated, such as like the graphics and the controls and stuff, but the rest of the game I really, really enjoy. Next game, a couple years after that, I got my first DS. And with my first DS came out the new games for the newest generation of Pokemon at the time, was Diamond and Pearl of the Sinnoh region. I love and kind of hate the game, so I love it just because I love the region and I love the game itself. Let me find it first. Pokemon Diamond. I think some of the programming and the controls in this game are actually worse than the Leaf Green Game Boy game. Like, this game's like a lot of fun to me. Of course, it has lots of childhood memories. I love a lot of like the side quest things. It was also a very challenging game because some of the things you just could not figure out. It took a long time. Training Pokemon in this game is so hard. Biggest downfall of this game is just how slow it is. Like the controls, like the walking and the running. Even the running is really slow in this game. Crow, stop moving my tripod. I think the game's still really fun. I am dying for a remake. They keep not making the remake for this game, and I swear if they don't make it soon, I'm gonna be really, really, really angry. I personally would give this like maybe like a 7.5 to an 8 out of 10, just because of like the controls are just really like slow and some of the things are just a bit too hard, but I dig a challenging game. Hey. Next game. The next game that I got was a game called Mystery Dungeon. Now, Mystery Dungeon's a really fun game because you actually get to be the Pokemon in this game instead of being a trainer and stuff. And like, so the story of this game is really cool. So the story in it is like you were once a human and now you suddenly became a Pokemon. And what you do now is like you've made a friend, and then like you realize that a lot of Pokemon can't fight for themselves in the wild, and there's these things called rescue teams, and it's like groups of Pokemon that get together, they make a rescue team, and they can go out and like either deliver you stuff in the wild, or they can save you from being in a situation in the wild. So in the end, like you get to become human again, but because of your love for your new life, you choose not to. And then there's like some side stuff. Actually, there's a lot of side stuff to do after the main plot. There's a lot to accomplish in this game. I really love it. Like, I want to get a second one so I can start over but not lose all my progress on this one, if you know what I mean, because unfortunately, you can only have one file. That's the biggest downfall of Pokemon games, is that they only give you one file to work with. I would give this 10 out of 10, because I love the controls, I love the game, love the story, love everything about it. 10 out of 10. So the next games I have here, so these are Pokemon Black and White. Now this is part of the Unova region, which is the very next region from Diamond and Pearl, the Sinnoh region. Now these games, like, they're alright. I don't like the graphics very much. Say hi to the camera! Oh, you farted. They tried really hard to like speed up the game versus from Diamond, because like I said, Diamond and Pearl were really slow. The graphics in it I think are a little weird, because suddenly things are now like a bit more like, I guess they are like a bit more like pixelated. One thing that they did though is that they started, like, this is the games where they started to try introducing new ways to like battle with Pokemon. I also really enjoyed the bad guy team, because to me it's like very much what the internet is today. So it's like these people with their ideas that sound very barbaric to us, but a lot of people end up getting on board with it. So like basically the bad guy team is all like, Pokemon shouldn't be with humans, but here they are with their Pokemon trying to force you to not have Pokemon even though they have Pokemon. I don't really know. They just have this really strong opinions that they refuse to accept any other, and they bash you for doing something that they think is wrong. And I don't know, I think it was very funny to see like how relatable that was with the internet today. The storyline wasn't exactly my favorite, but I thought it was very entertaining. The game itself, there was quite a bit to do on it, so I would give it like a 6.5 to a 7 out of 10. I don't know, I'm very indecisive. I can't really rate things very well. But yeah, that's it for this game, so next. Alright, so this game is another Pokemon Mystery Dungeon game. So there are 2 copies of this one. This one is Explorers of Darkness, and the other one is called Explorers of Time. Now, I used to have Explorers of Time, but then I traded that for a different game, which I'll talk about later, like in a bit. The reason why I traded it the first time was because it was really hard to me and I couldn't figure out the last like puzzle of the game. It was pretty hard, but I also really enjoyed that in the game. The first time though, I couldn't figure it out. The second time, as I got older, I was able to figure things out and I was able to defeat it. The only thing about it though is like after the main plot, there's not really a whole lot to do. It's kind of hard to level up afterwards. The little side plots are kind of hard to figure out, so like honestly, I'd give this like, I'd say a 6 out of 10 just because the partner that you have to deal with in the game is an annoying little brat and it's a big crybaby, so that was really annoying. But next game. So this next game I don't have the card for because of the game I traded for Explorers of Time, the first DS game of Pokemon Ranger. Now there's a couple of them, but this one's honestly my favorite because after this one, they just made every other Ranger game like super easy and not challenging. This one is fun because you are experiencing a new career rather than just being a Pokemon trainer. This one, you're now not a trainer, you're a Pokemon Ranger, and what they do is that they catch Pokemon with a stylus that befriends the Pokemon, and they ask for their help, and after the Pokemon has helped them out, the Pokemon just leaves. So you're really just trying to protect Pokemon, basically. So how you catch Pokemon is you have the stylus, there's the Pokemon, and on the screen you have to make circles around it without it breaking your circle or whatever. And so your circle can follow them, it's pretty hard though, but each Pokemon has a different amount of circles you need to make over it, and if you break the circle you have to start over. And they also can do attacks, and if they attack your line that makes a circle, you get damage and you can break your stylus and whatever, and it gets really hard because at the end there's legendary Pokemon you have to catch, and they're so unbelievably hard. But like, oh man, once like I got the hang of it, like I started that game over and over and just played the whole plot over and again, and oh, it was so fun. But I think I lost it. I don't know what happened to it, but I loved it so much. It was so fun. I would give that game probably like a 9 out of 10, just because it's challenging, it's fun. Next game. This one I just remembered about. So, like Pokemon Leaf Green and Fire Red, like that are remakes, they also made a remake Pokemon games of Gold and Silver, which is the second generation. And so the DS card game remake was Heart Gold and Soul Silver. I started the game and I absolutely hated it. It has the exact same programming and graphics as Diamond and Pearl, and like I said, it's really slow. So I had SoulSilver. One fun thing that they did is like whatever Pokemon you have in front of your party can walk behind you, and that's pretty fun. But training was really hard, the gym leader was really hard. I don't think I ever got past the second gym because I just really hated it. So I'd give it a 3 out of 10. I didn't really give it a fair chance, but whatever. The next game I got, so now 3DS and 2DS had come out, and I was pissed and excited because I wanted to play the new game, but I didn't want to get a new console. So I got the 2DS because it was cheaper. It was like $120, but now these days you can buy it for $70. So the new games that came out were X and Y, and I have Y here. I really want a copy of X because I love this game. X and Y is what's the region called again? Kalos. So it's the Kalos region and it's based off in France. And this is the game where you can now customize your character. It's like you could roller skate, you can now walk diagonally, like that was a huge thing. The graphics were really different now. A lot of people made fun of how they made like the avatars. They're like, oh, the avatars look really weird, and it's like, it's a cartoon, get over it. They made training easier in this game, and like, I did say that I wanted more of a challenge. However, like this game, it doesn't make it to where it's like super easy. It's more doable. One big thing about the game, you used to be able to clone with a glitch in the game. So you could trade Pokemon, but as they were like trading, you turn the games off, or you would like do something, I don't remember anymore, but you do something and it would like mess it up to where it thinks that each game had the same Pokemon as like one of them. That's really complicated, I'm not gonna get into it, but basically you could clone Pokemon through trading and making a glitch. But it became so popular that because now like with X and Y, they're connected with the internet and you can buy them through like the Nintendo eShop, they're able to just make an update to where they fixed the glitch and you could no longer do it, and it was really sad. 10 out of 10. Love this game. Some people, you know, may feel indifferent about it, but I really like this game. Yeah, so cool. Next. The next game, where is it? So the next game is another remake of the original ones were Sapphire and Ruby, and so the remakes are Alpha Sapphire and Omega Ruby, and for short, the initials spell Oros, and so they're known as the Oros games. I don't really like this game, in all honesty. It's way too easy. So one thing that they wanted to do is that you can find shiny Pokemon in the game, and they're like the trophy Pokemon because they're a different color than what they normally are. This game made it to where this was like a bajillion times easier to find shiny Pokemon, to where shiny Pokemon are no longer cool. It has this system where, you know, Pokemon, you can see the actual Pokemon like wiggling in the grass, and then it has like a Pokemon finder thing, and it also tells you what the Pokemon is, and you have to like, you tiptoe to the grass, and after like making a chain of finding that exact same Pokemon, you eventually find a shiny, and it usually takes like 10 minutes. The gyms, way too easy. Training, way too easy. I got to the Elite Four, stayed in front of the building you go into the Elite Four to battle them, and I never played again because I don't really care. 2 out of 10. Next, these next games, I don't really know. I like them, but I don't love them. So you've probably seen commercials for these, Pokemon Sun and Moon, or for the new ones, Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. So Sun and Moon. Sun was the original one I got. My sister got Moon, and then a friend of mine was selling his for $15, and I like being able to have 2 files, and since you can't have more than 1 file in each game, I bought it just to like play it again for kicks and giggles. I do enjoy a lot of the changes they made. They tried doing new things, so like this is based off of the Alolan region. They now have the same technical Pokemon, but because they now live in such a different environment, they've adapted to those changes, changing the type of the Pokemon, which I thought was a really cool concept. But they did also try doing a thing that was really stupid. So one thing that I didn't mention is that in Pokemon X and Y, they started a thing where Pokemon could have, like some Pokemon can now have another evolution, temporarily, kind of like Digimon, and it's called Mega Evolution. It makes them stronger, changes their ability possibly, can change their type possibly, can change their color, whatever, and it was really cool and it was really original. I was really excited for that. They tried doing that again though, except now they're called Z moves. moves. Like, you get a bracelet, the Pokemon does a dance, and now it does a new special move, like a 5th move instead of like the normal 4 moves that it can have, but you can only use it once in the whole entire Pokemon battle with only one Pokemon. That was pretty stupid in my opinion, and most of the time whenever I had like the Z moves, I just never use it because honestly it's not even that great all the time. They did try doing a thing, they tried being original. I was really excited for this and then really bummed out at the end because of what they did. The Alolan region had its own thing that instead of Pokemon gyms, they had the island challenges because there's different islands because it's based off in Hawaii, and Hawaii has different islands. So you go to each island, you complete their trial, and it wasn't always so much of like Pokemon battles, like you had to like find stuff, but then there was like a totem Pokemon on and you usually just battled that. And I thought the original concept was really cool, and it was like makes you really excited, like, oh, what are they gonna do at the end? Since they got rid of Pokemon gym leaders, having a Pokemon league would be weird because you're supposed to have 8 gym badges to go into the league, so it's like, oh, what are they gonna do? Well, you get to the end and it goes, oh, we just built our own Pokemon league, you should be the first one to try it out. I don't know, it was really disappointing in my opinion. However, the game is not bad. Oh, and the plot for this game, like the storyline for it was really good. I was really impressed with that. So it had a lot of good concepts, but also a lot of things that just pissed you off, you know? Now, I would give this game probably a 7 out of 10. Yeah, cool. So that is all the games I have for you guys today. I have a couple other videos in mind. I've actually made a list and actually have some ideas this time, so I actually can have a plan. And I do plan on trying to come out with those a bit more. I want to try being a bit more consistent with this. Because it's fun and I like this and I really like editing videos and making videos and I think it's pretty fun. So I'm gonna try a bit harder to do some of this stuff, so maybe you'll stick around, maybe you'll like and subscribe, but hopefully you'll stick around and maybe I'll see you in the next video. Bye!